this is Shel C from Paper Rock TO Studio, bringing you an altered tag today. This is for a link up with Cards and More by Sheri blog that I do every month called Tag It Tuesday. She has a theme, and this theme for this month is having to do with color. Pantone released 10 colors for spring, I think is what it's called, and one of them is called Buttercup, which is a bright yellow. So this tag is going to have lots of bright yellow, or at least some bright yellow on it. I'm starting out with a piece of manila stock that's from a file folder, an old one, and I cut it into the shape of a tag. This is 3 inches by 7 inches, and I am going to do an exercise that I've never tried that has been recommended if you want to learn how to do faces and shading on faces. And the exercise is to get a magazine clipping and then paint over the top of it. So I'm going to try it. I've got this lady from a stevia ad that was in my little circular, and she has that bright yellow buttercup tank top on. And so I decided that I wanted to give that a try and see what it's like to paint over the top of it. So I started out by gluing it down, and I'm also trying a glue stick for the first time, never tried that before. And then I sealed it up with some DecoArt satin decoupage medium, I think, just so that it doesn't get ruined by all the wet stuff I'm going to put over the top. And then I'm going to be using my Neocolor IIs, as you can see, to go over the top of it and play around. The first thing that I did is I went over the words that were printed over the top of the picture with some white gesso, and then now I'm just using the colors that are already existing in the photo, like the yellow and skin color and stuff like that, and I'm going over the top of the photo and filling in that area that I covered with the white gesso. As I do this, I realize that this is going to take a lot longer than I expected. I thought this was going to be super quick and just throw a few little splashes of color on there and it would be no big deal. But I have discovered that because the Neocolor IIs are pretty translucent, which is what I wanted so that I could see the shadows as I put the color over the top, that it wouldn't completely obliterate what was there. But because they are so translucent, that those places where I had to cover with gesso, and also up at the top by her hair where the tag is showing, I plan to cover that as well. It's going to take multiple layers. So this is really fun and a great activity to do to kind of get an idea of where shadows and highlights are on a photo, but it is a little bit more time intensive than I expected. But that's okay because I can speed through this video. I think we're at 4 times speed right now, which is fine. I mean, who wants to watch me go in real time? I certainly wouldn't. So I'm just using different colors, and I'm still sticking with ones that are pretty much existing in the photo. I've got skin tone over her skin, and I guess this is what I didn't mention. I've got some white acrylic paint and a water brush, and I'm mixing the water with the white acrylic paint and then using that to activate or blend, whichever way you want to think of it, the Neocolor II pigment. And the reason that I do that is because I want the pigment to become a little bit more permanent. With a watercolor type of a product like the Neocolor IIs, if you get water on it after you're done, then it'll just wash away, or you can continue to blend and move the pigment till I assume the end of time. I haven't actually tried. It hasn't been end of the time yet. So so when I blend it with the acrylic paint, that gives it more of a permanent finish so that it won't move as much. I'm getting out some more colors. These are the ones that I've bought directly from Blick as individuals. They didn't come in my little set. And they have more of the ones that I've purchased for doing skin tones, because there just really wasn't enough in that set of colors to do all the different shades that I wanted to do. So I mean, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going over blending, going over again, blending. So I'm probably just going to play some music and let you guys just watch, or rather you girls. I looked at my statistics on my videos and you're almost all women. I know there's some guys out there and I applaud you guys, but most of you are women. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play some music and then I'll come back in later if I think that there's something I need to comment on or something that I forgot to say or whatever. So you guys can see that I'm going ahead and going in with pure white paint in some of the occasions there with my brush to add highlights, to add like pure bright highlights. Instead of just using the white to blend, I'm also using it as a highlight color as well. And I'm eventually going to start the hair, and the hair is going to give me a lot of problems, but you'll see me putting a lot of white into that as well. It's hard to blend that almost completely white cardstock at the top in with the hair, but I get it done eventually. I think the style of this is probably maybe some sort of pop art because of the bright colors, and we'll talk a little bit about that more in a minute. this is at the point in the tag where the real poppiness of the pop art is coming out. I've always wondered why they call it pop art, and I've decided with myself that it's because there's these bright pops of color, pop, pop, pop everywhere. Now, that is so overused. I'm adding a pop of color. I'm getting a pop of color. I really, it's like the radio playing the same song over and over and over. I'm so over people saying pop of color. It's everywhere. It's driving me crazy. I was watching Ellen's Furniture Design Challenge, and they were talking about pops of color, and I'm just thinking to myself, everyone says that. Please, everyone stop saying that. It's getting so old and annoying. But I do think that pop art has pops of color because it's using colors that don't exist in the actual image. You don't see, lime green on people's faces or bright orange on their neck unless they've been going paintballing or something. You get what I'm saying? It's adding colors that don't necessarily, they seem to fit, but they're not really what exists in nature. And I'm having so much fun doing this. I hope that everyone gives it a try because it's so much fun. The next thing I'm doing here is adding now pops of bright white. They're pops of bright white. I don't think anyone has that bright of a white on their nose unless they're wearing sunscreen, or on their teeth unless they've had them bleached, or on their chin. Definitely not on their chin unless they've been drinking milk. I'm really getting crazy now. But I do love adding highlights with this Posca pen. It's an acrylic based ink in a pen form, and it's one of my favorite things. So I have a whole bunch of fun using it. I think I put too much white in her hair, but I'm over it. I didn't change it or anything. I wanted to see that fan shape of how her hair is flying like that, and so that's why I put so much white. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so once I get done with this, I'm going to add the saying. And the saying says, sunshine makes me happy. And I want to talk a little bit about that and what that means to me. I have something called seasonal affective order. I mean, you've been diagnosed with something. I don't really know that I have it or that I'm afflicted or whatever, but I get sad in the winter when it's dark and when it's cloudy. I don't feel myself. I'm unhappy. It's a real thing. It affects what I do in my life. And so literally sunshine makes me happy, and it's a really good thing I now live in Arizona because there's a heck of a lot of sunshine, so I'm happy most of the time. And that's a good thing. But that's the reason that I put this on here, because thinking about bright yellow makes me think about sunshine, because that's really what you're getting, is that yellow, beautiful yellow light from the sun that's increasing your whatever in your body that makes you happier. So if you've ever heard someone say that they have that, believe them. It's a real thing. It really does exist. Some people can treat it with a sun lamp. You can get a lamp that gives you those UV rays or whatever that you need, and it works out. So I'm now putting on some layers of extra cardstock. I like having a border like that, and that's a good way to add a border. And then I'm going to add some ribbons. Oh yeah, I've got my black Posca here, and I'm just going around my words to make them pop. See what I did there? Okay, maybe I'm the only one who thinks I'm funny. Anyway, got some ribbons, blue and yellow, because that's the color of the cardstocks that I put on there. And then I've got a gold piece of string. Going to tie it together, and we're going to call it good. The close-ups are coming up. Thanks. Bye-bye.